This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When send past the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.
Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm in pain. My brother Tony's in pain. Cornerstone Kev was supposed to come on the show, but he declined because he's in pain. I know all of you are in pain. And I know there's going to be some ATL fans in the chat. You know what? Y'all deserve to be in the chat and say whatever you want to say, for real, because the Knicks, for most of the game, stunk it up. You know what I mean? And I don't know. Tony.
Mikal Bridges.
Where do we even go from here, bro?
Mikal Bridges.
Bridges.
You said where, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, where was Mikal Bridges?
Right. Where was he?
I haven't even been on that train. Matter of fact, I might have been the first one to say, yo, give up whatever it takes and go get Mikal Bridges. Before people even thought it was a possibility or thought the Nets would make a trade with the Knicks.
Yeah.
This guy, bro.
Whose fault? Is it him?
I mean, he was a no-show completely. But there's blame to go around.
Yeah.
Hero ball.
Hero ball.
You know, why isn't Cat being featured against this team?
Right.
Where was Mitchell Robinson?
Yeah. Yeah. What you just said. Why is Cat not being featured against this team? I really cannot. I just can't understand it. It's hard for me to fathom why he's not being featured. I really can't understand it. It just doesn't make sense to me. And I know he had 21 points tonight. Okay, I get that. But 12 shots. Right, he shot 58% from the field. You know, and for someone shooting the ball who like has an impact shooting the ball, like Jose Alvarado shot 66%, but you know, he took 3 shots. Cat shot 58% from the floor, right? The best percentage on the team besides Alvarado. Why are you not going to him? Why is he not touching the ball every single possession? I just don't get it. I can't understand it. I don't fathom it. It doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't make sense to me. Go ahead.
I asked the question or I posed the statement of maybe this is not Brunson's series. You know what I mean? I've been saying this got to go through Cat from the beginning, but on the flip side of that, maybe this is not Brunson's series,
Right?
And he has to realize how to adapt to that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think you can't not feature Cat and you playing this hero ball. And I know he's been the hero. You know what I mean? Captain Clutch. He's been that. But sometimes you got to recognize when this one is not for me. I got to find a different way to impact.
And sometimes being the hero is allowing somebody else to do it, right? Sometimes that's being the hero. I mean, you said it, and you're right. It's not Brunson's series. He's got to realize that, and if he doesn't realize that, sometimes as a player you might feel like, oh, I just don't have it going or something like that. The coaches, they got to realize it and say, yo, JB, this maybe this one ain't for you. You know what I'm saying? Don't worry about anything else. Don't worry about the box scores and what anybody else is saying. Let's just get the ball to where we need it to be.
And I'm not saying bench him like Mikal got benched tonight. You know what I mean? But because his impact, his gravity is still impactful.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But you gotta learn. You gotta 100%. Learn how to use that.
Right. Yeah. I don't know, man. It's so many things happened in this game. Like right from the beginning, they jumped on us, and they're playing tremendous defense. They're shooting the ball tremendously well. We didn't have answers for that. Okay, so you got to survive the storm. It took us the entire game to survive the storm. But then even when we had survived the storm and were coming back, we still looked discombobulated. Like I can remember one play where they trapped CJ, right? I don't know if they meant to trap him though. Okay, I forgot who it was who set the screen. Maybe it was Alexander Walker who set the screen. Both Brunson and Deuce come towards CJ, right? And I can look at them and tell that they weren't. One of them was supposed to be getting back to Walker, right? And Walker's now roaming around free out there somewhere, and I'm yelling like, "What are we doing? Go find him! Like, who's supposed to be back?" Obviously, it should have been Brunson who was back, right? Well, you would expect, given the situation, with Brunson and CJ right now, and eventually, maybe Brunson got back. I don't know, but it just seemed they weren't on the same page. They weren't on the same page. They weren't together. So many things. The jump ball with Deuce and whoever he jumped with, maybe it was Jalen Johnson. For all intents and purposes, you would assume that Deuce is not going to win that jump ball. If he wins it, great. But you would assume that he probably isn't going to win it. So you should be ready to be in defense, right? So, yeah, we were on the defensive side of the ball. But it's like after we lost it, we weren't really ready to play defense. And we weren't structured. You heard him say it on the telecast. We weren't structured to play defense. It's just so, and like, it's like we don't know what we're doing in the clutch. For a team that's been one of the best, if not the best clutch team all year, all of a sudden we look like we don't know what we're doing. It's mad frustrating. You know what I'm saying? And let me ask you, do you think Mike Brown is in over his head? Do you think that he does not know what to do? Do you think he's lost? The team looks lost. Do you think he's lost?
I mean, I don't want to put all the blame on him, but the only comparison is this team this year to last year.
It's the only comparison. Yeah.
And it's definitely not the same level of focus. It's not the same level of intensity. Some of the things are the same. You know what I mean? Getting down to and having to fight back. You know what I mean? I think that was more this year than last year, but we saw that last year. You know what I mean? Having to get down and get up. We talked about that last year.
Mm-hmm.
But not to this extent. To where it's almost a daily routine.
Yeah.
I don't want to put it all on Mike Brown, but if we're doing a comparison, then yeah, I don't think we made the right decision. You know what I mean? It's not the same level of discipline as a team.
right there. It's not that same level of discipline. You know what I'm saying? And you can see it. It's just not the same level of discipline. You know, in my opinion, and I don't want to keep harping on it because, you know, Tibbs ain't, you know, we got Mike Brown now, but we seen it in the Boston series last year. What happened? We went to Cat, right, in the post. Cat hadn't really been a post-up guy all season long, but we went to Cat in the post against Boston because we had the size advantage. Why are we not doing that now? And I know I just led the show with asking that question, but it baffles me why we're not doing that now. It just baffles me.
And I hate. It's like when you wait too long to make an adjustment, it no longer even becomes an advantage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now it becomes desperation.
Yeah.
And if we're gonna talk comparisons, Tibbs was a victim of that too.
Yeah.
Because a lot of his extended usage of the rotation and the bench players came out of desperation. So to those who, you know what I mean, act like we don't criticize Tibbs, you know what I mean? He was a victim of that as well.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, Jamrock says, not putting all of this on Mike Brown. No way. These players have all been in the playoffs way too many times. I'm looking at Brunson first. You're right. There's no way you're putting it all on Mike Brown. They've got to make the decisions on the floor, and they got to come and play. Right? There's no doubt about that. But the schemes are on Mike Brown. Mm-hmm. The adjustments are on Mike Brown. The strategy is on Mike Brown. Right?
And
now, go ahead.
Pardon me, but the decision to make the pivot from Brunson lead guy to Cat lead guy, to running it through Brunson to running through Cat, the decision to do that is Mike Brown.
It's Mike Brown's.
Point break, period. To see Mike that Brown as the adjustment that needs to be made is Mike Brown's.
Yeah.
Now, he could be in a position coming from Sacramento and how that ended with turmoil and this situation, you know what I mean? Maybe he is not strong enough or you know what I mean, like positioned enough to take that stance. But the good coaches will.
Yeah, exactly. The good coaches will. They'll say, this is what I'm doing. This is what I got to do. If I'm going to die, I'm going to die on my hill, right? But then, you know, like we was talking about earlier, we got to look at the players too, because Cat was on the floor with Deuce, right? Alvarado, Jordan Clarkson, and he still did not demand the ball. Mm-hmm. He was still floating out there somewhere while those guys are running around doing whatever they're doing instead of demanding the basketball, right? You know, so that's on Cat. Cat has to be like, yo, if Mike Brown put you out there with these guys, right, to be featured, and they're not doing the job, you've got to stand up and say, what the fuck are you doing? Excuse my language for anybody who has some sensitive ears or if there's children listening. But what are you doing? Give me the damn ball.
And just to be clear, like the coolest said, he never demanded the ball. He never repositioned. He never positioned himself to get the ball. He was literally, like you said, roaming or just in one position.
Yeah.
While the offense was doing whatever the offense was doing. So yeah, we it's not just yell at your teammate. It's get in the position to get the ball and then yell at your teammate.
Yeah. Exactly. You know, it's just, I mean, they just seem so disorganized right now. Just so disorganized. It's, it's crazy. They just seem very, very disorganized. You know, almost as if they're not sure of themselves right now when I see them out there on the floor. You know, I just, you know, I don't get it. You know, what was your thoughts on the last play of the game?
I'll be honest, Sim. I saw it. I don't even remember it right now.
Okay.
I really don't. I do remember it. The pass to Hart that went awry.
Pass.
And ended up getting stolen.
Yeah.
I mean, you said it to me off air. I agree with you 100%. Like, why is it going to Hart? Cat got the ball. He gave it up immediately.
Yeah.
It could have got given right back, but you know what I mean. It ended up turning into something else. But there's no way it should be ending up in Hart's hand. You know what I mean. Number one, like, he should be the last option.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I think Brunson made the drive and the pass to Hart. Even that was a little suspect, like, because you wasn't having a good game. You know what I mean? OG
Right.
was cooking. Cat has the advantage.
Right.
It should have went to those one of those two
guys.
as the option.
Yeah.
Like, and again, I think it's tough for Brunson to relinquish that role in any sense. And
but here,
you know, maybe that's a sacrifice he's gonna have to learn.
Yeah.
Hopefully not too late.
But I want you to hear this. This is Mike Brown. Right, this is what Mike Brown had to say about that last play. Here we go.
Your last shot, what did you want to see on that possession, and what kind of mucked it up?
Yeah, I mean, we actually got a switch that we weren't thinking we'd get in terms of a combo on Jalen, and we cleared the side of the floor for him. And that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to zip him to the top of the floor and clear that right side of the floor for him, because that's what he's comfortable doing, and tell him to go win it. So that's what we were looking for.
So when you listen to what Mike Brown just said, like, the plan was clearly to get the ball to Jalen Brunson. So that's what they wanted to do, and clear that side for him.
And it sounds like they wanted to run an action to get that, and it happened on its own, because he said they were surprised by the matchup.
Yep.
But that was the matchup ultimately trying to get.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So, right. I mean, how are you surprised by the matchup if that's the matchup you were trying to get? I mean, maybe they were surprised that it happened as soon as it did. I don't know. But my question is still the same question that you have. Why are you going to Brunson? OG saved us the entire second half of the fourth quarter. OG was saving us with big shots.
Literally saving, because it wasn't like they was wide open, off the rotation. You know what I mean? Good assists. No. He was Hail Mary, full of grace.
He was saving us. He was saving us. So why would you not say, you know what? Do it one more time. Let's go to you one more time and see if you can do it one more time. I don't get that. I don't understand. It doesn't make sense. OG was saving us. One of the plays that you talked about, right? We had the same thought on that play. 100 miles apart. We got the same exact thought, right? OG had just hit a big three, and we're trying to get another bucket. I forgot the exact what was going on. We need another bucket, and OG set the screen for Brunson to get Brunson free instead of us trying to go to OG. Like, he's one of the players that Tony's been saying, Cat and OG, they can't stop. We're too big and too strong. OG Anunoby's having a hell of a basketball game and we're not going to try to feature that? Sean, help me. Explain that to me, Sean. Be Mike Brown's voice for me right now and explain that. I don't get that. I don't understand it. Yeah, you know, I don't get it. I don't get it. Especially when, you know, I know Brunson is your guy. You know what I'm saying? He's the closer on the team, but you got to know when, like, he's off and his rhythm isn't there. For the last 2 games, his rhythm has not been there. You know what I mean? The rhythm has not been there. Do something else. Again, Karl Anthony Towns is shooting 58% from the field. OG Anunoby, okay. As a matter of fact, OG Anunoby shot 56% from the field today, 9 for 16. Karl Anthony Towns is shooting 58% from the field, 7 for 12. Okay. Brunson was 47% from the field, but he struggled for everything. I don't care what nobody says. He struggled for everything. Like it or not. And I like Brunson. I'm a Brunson fan. But he struggled for everything. He wasn't getting easy shots.
And Sim, let's keep it 100. Since the first quarter of the first game, he struggled for everything.
Yeah, exactly. Struggled for everything.
Since the first quarter of the first game, he's struggled for everything.
Yeah. And like,
you got to realize when it's not your series.
Right. Exactly. And like, you know, right now, it's like the team, they seem so confused that now they're playing robotic, right? Brunson was isolated on the left side of the floor. I forgot who's in front of him. I don't know if it was Dyson or whoever was guarding him. But he's isolated on the left side of the floor. On the left side of the floor. With nobody there. Everyone else is on the other side of the floor. Right? And then he calls for a screen. And I'm saying to myself, this is the time to go. You're isolated by yourself on that side of the floor. Take your ass to the basket. But he holds it, calls for Cat, comes off Cat's screen, and dribbles into traffic. Right? And has to pass the ball up. When he had the whole left side of the floor to go by himself. I don't understand it. Like, that's the time to really go. That's the time to break your man down and go for broke. Instead, now, you know, you called for the screen, and obviously it didn't work. You know what I mean? And to me, it's just showing, like, the confusion that we're discombobulated. We're, you know, with it being so tight, we're playing like robots because we didn't build certain habits throughout the season. It feels like to me. You know what I mean? I got a call on the line. Caller, you're live. Name and where you're from, please.
Hey, Sim. Name's JR. I'm from the Bronx. I'm calling from Florida.
What's going on with you, brother? How you feeling, man?
I'm just full disclaimer, man. Like, I had to call you. I am in intense pain, just like you guys. I am in a lot of pain right now. And it's only right. I felt like I had to call you because I called you. I called you twice this year, and both times on Cloud 9. I think I closed out your show when we won the Cup. Me and my brother were elated. And I think I called you when I went to New York, and I got a Brunson signed basketball from James Dolan, and I was elated.
Yeah. I remember that. Yep.
Super happy.
That.
Yeah. And even then, I was like, yo, full disclaimer, you know, I'm one of the rare ones. I've been a Cat fan since he was drafted number 1 overall. I wanted us to have the number 1 overall that year because we sucked that year, obviously. And I was like, oh, you know, Dominican center, you know, I'm a Dominican dude. So I'm like, yo, I could ride with my dude, you know, we're going to turn up. And I followed him his whole career. He was my favorite player. That's not a Knick. And when we got him, I know he wasn't popular in the, you know, because if you don't, you know, it's hard to like him because, especially when you're not a fan, because it's hard to, he has a lot of things, and he's a little weird. I get it. I understand it. It's easy to jump on him. I get it. But I even told you when I called you last time, so I was like, yo, this guy shows up in the playoffs. I was like, I know he's hard to look at, and sometimes it's weird, but in the playoffs, when it matters, he's going to be there. And he's here. And he's doing what he's supposed to be doing. But you know what it is that he does have a very big flaw. Is that he's not a selfish player to a fault. Like, he just wants to be a system player. He doesn't, like, I know we want him to demand the ball, but he's not that guy. He was never that. And even in Minnesota, they were losing games like crazy.
So what I'll say to that, if he's not that guy, then he's on the wrong team. Because they brought him here to be the number 2 guy, which means, you've got to be a little bit selfish.
And here's what I'll say the difference is. Even if he wasn't the guy in Minnesota, he was the featured guy. So he ended up being the guy.
Yeah.
Whether he wanted to be the guy or not, he had that role for a short stint. You know what I mean? Now, granted, they realized we need somebody else to be the guy. And I think they brought Butler there, trying to figure that out. You know what I mean? The Ant's arrival, and then obviously he was moved to us.
Let me respond to that real quick, because you guys are perfect. You guys are right. And just a full disclaimer, we're like, the pain is sucks, man. It's a really, because these games, I don't think we've ever lost 2 games back to back by 1 point in the playoffs. I in my life, I can't recall. But again, I wasn't really around the '90s Knicks my whole life. I've been watching them mostly lose. But the point is, back to Cat, it's almost inexplainable how Mike Brown, I'm sorry, I have to take it there because he is the coach. You have to know who your team is. You know who your team is. You know what, we can't call a play. What happened to that pick and roll we were seeing the last game against Atlanta in the season? What happened to that pick and roll where Cat slips and Buster throws in the pocket pass? What happened to that?
You want to know what happened to it? I'm going to tell you right now what happened to it. Because everybody, was asking questions about if Mike Brown saved it until the playoffs, right? That was a big question, and nobody really knew the answer. It was just a big question in the conversation. And my thought was always, if he did do that, it's a big mistake, because that means you didn't build the habit to do it consistently, right? When the pressure is on you, you don't really know how to do it. You didn't work on counters. You didn't work on where you go when defenses strategize against it.
And you didn't perfect it.
And so when you get in a stressful situation, guess what? You're not confident in it. You're not confident to do it because, you're not that comfortable. When you get in a stressful situation, naturally, go ahead, say it, Tony.
You revert back to your habits.
You revert back to your habits. Naturally, that's what your body does. You revert back to your habits when you get in a stressful situation.
I gotta tell you, Sid, I'm sorry, but I don't know how you guys do this, man. Like I live and breathe Knicks. I talk Knicks every day, but how you guys come on and are able to analyze and talk the way you do about the Knicks after a loss like this, and after every game, you guys are always. I am literally it's a lot of pain and a lot of everything, but I have to say this before I go, because I know you guys have a lot to get into, and I know you guys always do. But we can talk about Cat, we can talk about Mike Brown, we can talk about everything, but my God, Mikal Bridges, OMG, yo, what in the world? I feel like we just bought a car from the Nets, and we thought it was a good car, and it's just I'm sorry, he did good things last year, but I don't understand. How can we look at anyone else but the guy who scored 0 points? 0 in the playoffs this whole year. I watch every game, okay? A lot of games more than once. I tell you, I'll watch these games, and it's hard to watch Mikal Bridges all year. And you tell yourself, oh, he's going to show up in the playoffs. He's a playoff player. Don't worry about this. It doesn't matter. The playoffs going to matter. Here are the playoffs, and he is the weirdest looking. What is he doing out there, Sim? Please explain to me how he has 0 points.
right now, to me, it just seems like his confidence is at an all-time low. I mean, for the second half of the season, he was like 10 points a game. His confidence is just wild low right now.
And the team doesn't know this? Mike Brown doesn't know this?
I mean, he noticed today.
Yeah. I mean, listen, he knows it. I think he knows it, and he's probably trying to help him pull out of it. That's the only answer that I have.
$140 million we just sunk into this guy. We just took $140 million into this guy, Sim.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna get back and listen because I'm in too much pain. I'd rather sit back, find some herbal remedy for something to just null this pain.
Hey, you might as well.
And I'm just gonna listen to y'all.
Do it.
Do what y'all do, man.
No doubt.
Thank you for what you guys do, man. I really appreciate what you guys do. Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Have a good night, guys.
Peace. Go get that herbal tea. Go get the herbal tea, bro. It's all good. You're allowed to do it tonight. The Val Known said, wow, I leave one New York platform and find another. How many podcasts in NYC? There's a lot of them, my brother. There's a lot of them. So, it's everywhere. All right, so you started off and you were like, I said, where do we go? And you said Macau, I said, where are you? Basically saying, where is Macau?
Bro.
Does Mike Brown make that adjustment to move him out the starting lineup? And if he does that, does it help?
I don't know if it helps because, again, even the optics of it, right? The psychological part of it, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm not talking about even from Macau or for the Knicks. Now the Hawks is like, oh yeah, we got him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We got him.
Yeah.
You
They're panicking.
know what I mean?
They're panicking.
So even from that perspective, it's like that's one aspect. What it does to Macau, does it galvanize him, or does he go deeper into his shell? You know what I mean? It's crazy to come from Brooklyn and that have no type of preparation for what it takes to thrive in New York, because it really feels like he went from Brooklyn and then New York broke him.
Yeah. I mean, it does. It definitely feels like that way.
One last thing. He thrived in his role, on a path to the finals as a younger player in Phoenix. And his role here is identical. We're not asking you to do anything more than that.
Yeah.
We're not asking you to do anything more than what you've done as a younger player, as a third or fourth option on a team that's went to the finals.
Yeah.
So it has to be the New York pressure. The draft picks, the talk,
all of that.
You know what I mean? Like
all of that.
I mean, I can't even talk about the game.
Has to be.
That's what I gotta say about Macau right now.
Yeah, I mean, it has to be. It has to be that. Because he's been Houdini. You know what I'm saying, for a while. You know what I mean? For a while. Let me get to another caller. Caller, you're live. Name me where you're from, please.
What's going on, Sin? This is Lloyd from the Bronx. What's going on, man?
Lloyd, what's popping with you, brother?
Yeah. I'm going that court. You know what? Let's get to it. You know what? I'm just gonna get to it.
All right.
Where do I start? Do I start with Mike Brown? Do I start with Jalen Brunson? Do I start with Mikal Bridges? Like, where do I start? Mike Brown. Why do you have Mitchell Robinson only playing 11 minutes tonight? Explain that to me. Explain to me, how do you have Deuce? You have Deuce, and then you put in, I believe you put in Deuce, you put in Jose Alvarado, you put in Brunson, not Brunson. You put in Clarkson. OG. He put in, and I believe Brunson was in there. You put in a small lineup. Where was Mitch? How many points did Atlanta have in the paint tonight?
Tonight, Atlanta had 40 in the paint, 40 points in the paint.
That is crazy. That is nasty work. For Mitch to be now, why is Deuce having more shot attempts than Karl Anthony Towns? That is another.
I mean, Deuce had 14 shot attempts tonight. Karl Anthony Towns 12. You know, and this is something we've been talking about all night, right? The question is it Mike Brown, or is it Cat, or is it the team?
Still, I don't understand why my bench player has more shot attempts than my starter. Mikal Bridges, 0 points. What's going on, bro? Now we're reverting back to the 5 picks. We got 5 picks to go get you. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Again, did we not learn from last game? Why is it that during the two crucial moments of the game, it's a turnover and an air ball? Why is Josh Hart, for the fact that you have Josh Hart in the last game 2, the last seconds of the game, Josh Hart was part of the offense? Why? This game, the last possession of the game, the last 2 seconds of the game, Brunson, I don't understand why Brunson dribbled to the trap and then you pass it to Josh Hart. Explain that to me. Explain if that makes any sense.
Well, I mean, Mike Brown said that the plan was to get Brunson isolated on the wing by himself with Okongwu, which that happened, and so that Brunson could go one-on-one. Brunson tried to go baseline. Okongwu was able to cut him off. Whoever it was came from the backside. I don't know if that was Kuminga or not, and Brunson tried to get that pass into Josh Hart.
You get that pass into Josh Hart, but you don't get the pass into Cat. Kills me. For the fact that Cat is not implemented into the offense, especially the last possession of the game, when every possession that he has is a mismatch, kills me.
That kills
it bugs me out.
And if you were going to get that pass over to Brunson, why not have Cat get that pass over to Brunson so he can roll to the basket, right? So that, you know, I mean, because think about it. If you have Hart getting that pass over to Brunson, you know, you talked about the trap. You have somebody who is basically Brunson's size that can, you know, help out on the trap. The fact that Okongwu helped out already meant that Cat had somebody 6'8" or smaller on him.
Correct. Right. There was a mismatch already for Cat. Cat had somebody shorter than him.
Or
so
nobody.
You should already feed him. You should already look for him. Like the sense of urgency, my offensive awareness is you should already look for somebody that else already. If you got somebody, because Okongwu, whatever his name is, he's the center. He's outside guarding Cat. So if I'm Brunson, I'm looking at, okay, who's Cat guard? Who's on Cat? I should already dump it to him. It should be that offensive awareness should already be alerting that, okay, whoever's guarding Cat, I'm going to be dumping it to him so he can pretty much lay whoever's on him because obviously they're too small. Yeah. That's my issue. Yeah. Now, the CJ shot, right, says a lot about because I don't understand why you have Deuce, who's way too small at that last possession, guarding CJ. Mm. That was my issue with that. Now, that's supposed to be a Mikal Bridges. I don't know what's going on with dude, but I don't need somebody that, no disrespect to Deuce, but that's the Mikal Bridges defensive assignment.
Bro, Deuce and Brunson both was getting shot over by CJ all night. So it could have been Josh Hart. It could have been Mikal. It could have been OG. You know what I mean? Any one of those other guys should have been on him. 100%.
Because once I'm not gonna hold you, as great.
They had to pivot to Josh Hart, you know, midway through the game to guard CJ instead of Johnson.
Right. That's the thing, and because if you gonna put somebody small, see the thing that as much as I respect Deuce, But Deuce is way too small to be pretty much guarding an elite shot maker like CJ. CJ been doing this through. You know it's bad when we're getting killed by CJ McCollum and Jonathan Kuminga. We're not getting killed by Jalen Johnson. You know what I'm saying? Which he happens to be the all-star of the team. We're not getting killed by him or Nickeil Alexander. We're getting killed by CJ and Jonathan Kuminga. If that don't tell you, not to take nothing away from CJ, but we shouldn't be. It looks bad, bro.
I mean, but CJ is balling though. I mean, you got to give him that. And he's been there. He's been there before.
Exactly. He has the most experience as far as anybody.
I'm not taking nothing away from CJ.
And Kuminga got championship experience. So
no,
both of those guys.
I agree.
Were the two dangerous guys for me.
No, I agree. I'm not taking nothing away from CJ and nothing away from Kuminga. But we got way too much talent for us to get beat by two players. Two.
That's fair.
You see what I'm saying? And one is coming off the bench. I'm trying to pretty much
trying to figure out what's happening. Like
what's going on?
Yeah.
Nah, you're right.
You see what I'm saying?
That's
what I'm saying. It goes back to Mike Brown because I'm sitting there. I'm like, yo, Mike, come on, man. You got to. And for the fact that you had, and I don't know if y'all realize the spurts of the game where you had Brunson and Cat sitting for so long. And I'm like, how much rest do you need? Put one of them at least in the game. Both of them can't be sitting out at the same time. No way. No way. We need one offensive threat in there, you know what I'm saying, to play along with the bench. Both of them don't need to be sitting out, especially at this time of the series. None of them need to be. They do not need to be resting at the same time. I rebuke that.
Yeah, I hear you. I don't disagree with you. Yo, Lloyd.
I'm trying to figure out. Yeah,
I appreciate your time, man.
Bro.
I appreciate your time. Yeah. Appreciate you calling in. Listen, man, we got to try to make a comeback in this series, man. You know what I'm saying? We got to make a comeback in this series. No choice.
We got no choice, man.
We got no choice.
I appreciate you, man.
No doubt.
Yes, sir.
Peace. I was just looking at, and if I can get the clip up, I'm going to get the clip up. I was just looking at the last play. And I do think that they were trying to get Cat and Brunson together on that last play. So I just looked at the play. The ball came into Cat. It wasn't supposed to go to Cat right away. I think it was supposed to go to Hart.
He gave it right up.
Right?
He gave it right up.
Yeah, so the ball, I think, was supposed to go to Hart immediately, but they had trouble getting it to Hart, so Cat came to the ball. Then Hart came around, he handed the ball off to him. When he handed the ball off to him, Hart passed it to Brunson, and then Cat went up to set the screen. Brunson didn't take the screen. Brunson went opposite the screen, right? So Cat came up and set the screen, tried to set a screen on the left side to Brunson's strong side. Brunson takes it the opposite way, right? And then of course it was just mayhem after that. Let me get to a couple of super chats, and then I got Big Bubba on the line who's been trying to get in.
How often do you see Brunson do that though?
Every single time.
That was what he did before they started actually running the pick and roll.
Yeah, every single time he goes opposite the screen. He doesn't really take the screen. He always goes opposite the screen.
Before we started seeing the pick and roll, that was what he did every single time.
Right. Go opposite the screen. Yeah. Walter White, thank you for the super chat. He said, this is 2 games straight that when we needed to stop, we didn't have Mitch in the game. That's egregious. Mm-hmm. He's our best defender. The last play of the game, when CJ hit the game winner, he was in the game. We'll say that. Paris Duggar, thank you for the super chat. He said, Cat's man fell down and Cat didn't cut to the basket. Watch the play. You're right. Watch the play. If I hear another give Cat the ball cry when he won't fight for post position. And you're right. Cat has got to fight for post position, right? He's got to put himself in a position to get the ball. But I also think that's on, you heard Mike Brown after the last game say, Cat's so however many time All-Star, I shouldn't have to tell him every game to be aggressive. Well, God damn it, you're the coach. If you gotta tell this dude every single time he steps on the floor to be aggressive, that's what you gotta do, especially in the playoffs. You know your players' weaknesses and you know their strengths. And if that's one of his weaknesses, that he's not aggressive, that he's not vocal, he's too much of a nice guy. If you got to pound it into his brain, especially when we're in a stage like this.
I tell you what, Sim, you telling him to his face every game is better than you saying that to the media.
Exactly. Now, if you're telling him every game and he's not doing it, you're doing your job. You're telling him. Now, hopefully you've done some things to, you're still a coach and you're still teaching men, right? You're still teaching these guys. Hopefully you've done some things, some different types of drills, whatever it is that you've got to do to try to get him to be that aggressive type of player and build up that confidence to demand the basketball, to make sure he's in position, not just float. You know what I mean? And if he still ain't doing it, then, all right, well, we got to do something different because this guy just say he don't get it. But, you can't be like, well, I'm not going to tell him every single game. This is not the time to teach a lesson. The lessons were done, right? All those kind of lessons, you're supposed to have done those in the regular season. The lessons are done. You got to do what you got to do to make sure that your players are in position. You know what I mean? And, that. But I do get it. Cat's got to take the responsibility on himself. But also,
and it don't even gotta be Mike Brown. Your teammate could be in your ear every single play.
There you go.
Get, you know what I mean? We need you, Cat. Get down in the post, Cat. Like a teammate could do that.
A teammate can do that. You know what I'm saying? So we can't just give up on a guy. He's on your team. So we got to do what's necessary for this guy to be successful too. Because if he's successful, you're successful. Especially when you need him. Right? If he's successful, we're successful. You know what I mean? We got Big Bubba on the line. Big Bubba, what's up, man? What's going on? If that was Big Bubba out there, he'd be demanding the ball.
I would, son. I would.
I would definitely ignore him, but he'd be demanding the ball. I'd ignore him, but he'd demand it, and I'd respect him for that.
What's going on, son? Blackest time, Tony.
What's good, man?
Oh, man. First and foremost, man, shout out to the Giants and the Jets. The only thing that's going good for us right now. Sam, me and you talked about it. Talked about this a little earlier throughout the day. About what happened if we lose. And you know what I'm gonna say. This Mike ain't it, man. Mike ain't it. I'm gonna say it, and it's gonna be a tough pill to swallow. But this ain't a championship quality team. There's no togetherness. There's clearly something going. There's clearly been a riff of the chemistry of Jalen Brunson and Carl and Cat. The chemistry's just not there. Cat's not being aggressive enough. Jalen's this is just the worst series. You know what everybody do for a bad series? Every great players do for a bad series.
This ain't the time for it.
But you gotta recognize it. You gotta recognize it. You gotta say,
Tony,
this ain't my series.
Tony, I 100% agree with you. I think what's going on is a little combination of Jalen Brunson's ego, of C.J. McCollum just busting his ass, and just him trying to force things when it's just at the end of the day, right? I want to say this too, Sim, and this is the part where frustrates will bring Mike Brown a lot. Sim, did Mike Brown coached the Golden State Warriors?
Assistant
I'm going to
coach.
say this again, assistant coach. So he's seen the way they run things, right?
Mm-hmm.
For you as a coach, and Tim, I'm going off. This is what I'm going off of. I'm going off of what Leon Rose projected Mike Brown to be for the New York Knicks. He was supposed to be the guy to take us to the next level, past this. Clearly, this is looking like a disaster, by the way, and Tibbs is probably laughing somewhere. When you see the off-ball movement of Steph Curry, and this is the genius of Steph Curry, this is why he's one of the most dangerous players of all time. Him not always having to have the ball in him, him moving around, him doing double screens, them guys doing double screens, all that stuff. Again, we're not, for you to be a coach of that, for you to get a ring with that, to see that, and you have your team here, again, I'm not saying Jalen Brunson, Steph Curry. I'm not saying that whatsoever. But for you to not have those things implemented into this offense, which again, right, this offense has been, to me, this offense has not been elevated of what we were projected, Leon Rose projected this team to be. To me, the free-flowing offense of Jalen Brunson does not have to have the ball in his hands. That was one of the big issues everybody was complaining about with Tom Thibodeau, was the ball in Jalen Brunson's hands so much. We're just going to hero ball Brunson. Mike Brown, again, Leon Rose, this is what Leon Rose say it to all of us. That this guy was going to get. This guy was supposed to be better than Mike Tom Thibodeau. But again, man, this guy is just not working. He's not the coach. He's not elevating his team. The team is getting exposed right now, and we're looking like a first round exit. And at this point, Game 4, if you don't win it, then this series is completely over. You might as well pack your bags now. The series is over. Again, I don't think this team is a championship level team. I don't think this team, even if in a miracle we win, I don't see this team beating the Celtics. Don't see this team even. I don't see this team beating the Pistons, and I don't see this team beating the Thunder. So something got to change in this series, team, son. This ain't it. This ain't it whatsoever.
I mean, I can't argue with you, to be honest with you.
And again, and Sim, right? Me and you talked about this earlier. And this will be, I know this is going to, God forbid we lose the series. This is going to be a big talk during the offseason, which we're going to talk about all summer. Did you fire Tibbs too early? Right now was looking like yes. But at the same time, Sam, I got to question Leon Rose with a lot of decisions. With a lot of decisions of what's going on with this basketball team, of the McHales, of the trading for Cat, when you could have just had you could have had Randall, and Dante and all those guys, and letting that work out. You never even let that get a chance to even. You literally didn't even give that a chance to work. It's a lot of questionable things. I'm looking at Leon Rose with a lot of the things he's done with his team. And he's done great things, but there's a lot of the team that he missed a lot of things that could have made this team a championship level team. This ain't a championship level team. Throughout this whole season, people have been talking about the offense. Like, when are we gonna get the continuity? When are we gonna get the what we wanted to see? Mike Brown is it's laughable, son. You literally fired the coach that got you to the Eastern Conference Finals, and you possibly have a coach that can't even get you out the first round against the Hawks. And you know what? All credit to the Hawks. They're doing everything right. They're doing everything right that they need to do to win this. So I see some people in the comments talking about, oh, the Hawks are lucky, or the Hawks are. No, man, the Hawks are a better team right now. You listen. Even if they beat us by 30, or they beat us by 1 point, the better team won. Then we're going to say this again. Game 4 Saturday is a must-win. But at this point, Sam,
Yeah, I mean, it's a must-win.
I'm going to say this. This is the season. This is the season. Yeah. Again, listen, man, if they win, then, good luck. I mean, if they win, then they win. But, again, this team, I can't see this team going to the championship. I can't. There's just too many holes in this team. It's too much selfishness. It's not enough teamwork. We're just literally not feeding Cat. I mean, again, like Tony said, Brunson, this is not your series. It is okay. This is, to me, what makes a winning player or a winning player is to recognize when they're not doing good and deferring to teammates.
Yeah.
That's what, to me, makes a championship-level player versus a guy that's just in the playoffs. Because at the end of the day, right, and I got to say it, people think Jordan always hit the big shot. In those first 3 championships, other players hit the big shot. You gotta get past you gotta get past your ego. Anyways, Sim, that's all I have to say. I'm gonna call you. I'm gonna call you. We're gonna talk tomorrow. Let me go before I get fired.
Yeah.
Tony Black, it's time.
We don't want that.
Have a good one, fellas.
Fired.
Hey, I'm trying not to, man. But
fired.
you know what, Sim? But hey, Game 4 is the season. It's the season, people. It's the season, people. So
Game 4 is gonna be. It's gonna be nuts. It's gonna be crazy. We know that.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Hey, keep killing the show, Sim. Have a good one, y'all.
Big Bubba. Appreciate you, bro.
Yes, sir.
Peace.
Yep.
Yeah. You know, obviously, you know, we're gonna have a lot of time. The Knicks get eliminated. We're gonna have a lot of time to talk about Leon Rose and the choices that he's made with this team. You know, just look, a quick breakdown of the stats, ladies and gentlemen. We haven't even gotten a chance to do that. I'm pretty sure everybody knows it anyway. I mean, the Knicks win the rebounding battle 46-45. 19 assists for both teams. Right? 10 steals for both teams, 5 blocks for the Knicks, 8 for the Hawks, 15 turnovers for the Knicks, 16 for the Hawks. The Knicks only shot 43% from the field. They only shot 28% from the three-point line. They shot 90% from the free throw line. That probably kept them in the game, along with OG hitting some big shots. The Knicks only give up 40 points in the paint. They score 56 in the paint, but obviously not enough. Second chance points, the Knicks 21, Atlanta 17. Atlanta 20 fast break points. But, you know, the Knicks were led in scoring by OG Anunoby. He had 29 points tonight. You know, just silly mistakes down the stretch. You know, being discombobulated, all of those things, you know, just led to the Knicks now being down 2-1. And listen, we're down 2-1. We can win on, what's today? Thursday? What are we playing? Saturday? We can win on Saturday, and we go back to the Garden 2-2, and it would be like we won 2 at home and they won 2 at home, right? You know, everyone protected home court, it would be like. Obviously, we would have split at both places, and we'd have a chance to go up 3-2. So, you know, definitely the season is not over, but it doesn't feel good because of the way that the team looks right now. You know what I mean?
Sounds like what we was talking about to close out the regular season.
Yeah.
The way the team looks.
What this feels like to me, though, I hate to say it. I told my brother, it feels like Indiana.
Bro, I said that from game 1.
You did. You did. It feels like that Indiana series right now. You know what I mean? And you know, I don't know. I want to hear some of the players' post-game remarks. And you know, go from there. Hopefully everybody can, you know, this comes out loud and clear. We do have a caller on the line. Caller, be patient. We'll get to you right after these post-game remarks. All right. Because then I want to, you know, listen to, you know, hear what they said and kind of break down what they said. All right. So here we go.
Offensively, the team struggled early on. Starting to find the movement in the second quarter change.
I feel like we had I feel like we probably played a little bit more pace. Yeah, I feel like that's something that we didn't, you know, do the whole game. And yeah.
Josh, how frustrating was this game offensively for you? I guess you had to get the shots that you wanted and you just didn't go, or were you maybe expecting better shots?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they just didn't go. I mean, I thought the corner one thought it was good. You know, I just gotta, you know, I gotta make them.
Coach talked about how he's encouraged by the fight, but how much more fight is it going to take from this team?
A lot, obviously. You know, we're down 2-1. So right now there's no room to feel sorry for ourselves. You know, we got another one on Saturday at 6 o'clock. So it's a quick turnaround. We got to make sure we regroup and, you know, go out focus again for.
Josh, that lineup that you guys played for most of the fourth played really well together. What did you feel like was working as well as
I mean, I don't know. I feel like we were getting stops. You know, getting some good shots. You know, we had OG had a couple, you know, big threes at the end of shot clocks, and you know, do shot the ball well. But I feel like, you know, we really played off our defense.
What do you think the biggest thing was that allowed them to create some separation early on in the game?
I don't know. I feel like I said, I feel like we had good shots and we just didn't make them. You know, so.
Josh, when you switched on to CJ in the second half, you kind of limited him there. Just what were you kind of doing in that matchup, and what do you think was effective about that?
Yeah, I mean, I just try to make it tough for him. Yeah, that was the biggest thing. I just try to make it tough for him, force him into tough shots. Yeah.
What does it say about this team that you were able to come back and keep it as close as you did in the fourth, and then, you know, what do you need to do to make sure that you get over that final hump there?
I mean, we fought, and it shows that we got that fight. We'll never quit on ourselves, no matter how the game's going. But like you said, we need to close out the game, and we just didn't today.
What do you think was missing early on when we created that separation?
Just, you know, we wasn't getting stops. Obviously, you know, they hit shots, and we didn't stop the bleeding.
Seems like everyone's pretty emotional after this loss. Just how do you scrap this and move on to the next one?
Of course, it hurts. It hurts when you give yourself a chance to win, and last game, this game, you know, give credit where credit's due. The Hawks found a way to win, but it hurts more that we put ourselves in a position to win, and we just didn't close the show. So I think that's why everyone's emotional. So you know, it's tough. We got to keep our head up. You know, it's okay to be disappointed. That means we care, and you know, we got to get the next one.
Is it tough to see those last two possessions offensively go the way they do with air ball and then turnover with the game on the line?
I mean, it's tough hearing the crowd cheer and them saying the other team won. I don't think about the shots. I think about the result. You know, that's always tough.
How about the rhythm that you were able to find offensively?
It don't mean anything if you don't win, honestly. So that's really the answer for it.
Carl, that lineup that you guys played for most of the fourth quarter seemed like it found a really good groove. What was working so well about you guys?
Just, you know, getting stops and making shots. So that's really that's how basketball's played. You want to make more than the opponent, and also you want to stop them. So we did a good job of that.
You had two really good plays at the rim defensively in that fourth quarter. Do you feel like you're?
I'm gonna think about them too because because Jalen Johnson got the ball back and laid it up.
Yeah.
So that will keep me up tonight.
Do you feel like you could have recovered that?
I don't think so.
It took a crazy bounce.
Yeah, I blocked it exactly where he wanted. So I mean where he went, and so you know it still hurts that I couldn't get that play for us.
Do you feel like you're kind of getting to the point of the series now where you're like you can anticipate just because you've been around these guys for 3 games now?
I feel more my anticipation comes from our preparation of watching so much film with Mark Bryant, our assistant coach. We've been locked in since day one, since I came to this team. It's like a father to me almost in a way. We just locked into the details, and in those details it tells me tendencies, it tells me where people want to go, and it tells me how people want to finish when they get to the rim. I think we've done a great job of being prepared, but you gotta, like I said, you gotta give credit to them as well. You know, they're making the plays needed to find a way to win.
Kind of evaluate the way you've handled Nikhil, though, as a defender. He hasn't really gotten going in this series. is it hard to balance what you're doing defensively with maybe the shots not falling too?
It's just, trying to do both, play well on both ends. Yeah, that's really it.
You made so many clutch plays for your team last year in the playoffs. It's just tough to not be out there that in a clutch moment like this.
Yeah, for sure. But that's just got to be better so I could be out there.
What do you think is what do you think is the problem with the turnovers?
It was just a bad turnover day for me. I just got to clean it up. I think that's just on me.
What wasn't going well early on that allowed them to get separation?
I think some of my turnovers, and then just communicating, just talking to each other in transition.
It looks like everybody's.
Mikael, you've been in this league a long time. How do you kind of bounce back? What do you kind of tell yourself to kind of get going again?
There's no other way. It's another game, another opportunity. It's a tough one. I got to take it on the chin and, handle it how I'm supposed to and be ready for the next one. It's going to suck. It is what it is. It's got to be better to help my team out there.
How much of the shot not falling is that rhythm? Is that whatever it may be? What do you think is the issue?
Just gotta make them when I get my opportunity.
You guys have faced holes before in the playoffs, faced tough situations. Just the guys in this room, based on what you know, do you feel like Saturday you guys can do what you want to do?
Yeah, we just got to put it all together. Like I said, it starts with me. I got to be better, but we just got to play as a team and fight for all 48.
Cat feel crushed because of his effort, and Mikael feel crushed because of his performance. Or
Yeah.
lack thereof.
Okay. Yeah. And we was muted for a second. What we were talking about is Cat and Bridges. Just looking as though they're kind of crushed. Bridges, his eyes wide open. I mean, he looks like he might be like gone out of it. You know what I mean? Cat genuinely looks and feels hurt. I wonder how frustrated Cat is though. I mean, he can, Cat can sit and say, well, you know what? I had 21 points tonight. I was third leading scorer on the team, but he's got to know in his heart that he should be having 35 because the ball should be going into him. You know what I mean? I mean, listen, I get it. I know that he's a nice guy, and all that kind of stuff, but he's got to feel some kind of way. You know what I mean? He's got to feel some kind of way about, and it's been like this all season long, but he's got to feel some kind of way about it. I don't know. And I see Lawman into the chat. I seen him. Scrub. Listen, you know what?
I got him highlighted. If you want to show him some love.
And I show him some love, man. He said, well. I mean, listen, we can't even argue with him. Him, Scoop, whoever else, we can't even argue with him because, the Knicks said proving us wrong. The series ain't over. You know what I mean? Still got a long ways to go in this series, but right now, the Knicks look discombobulated. You know what I mean? So I can't even argue with them. Let them have their 15 seconds of fame. You know what I mean? The seasonal, it's a long series, so long ways to go. It's long ways to go. You know what I mean? What do you expect Tony to see from Game 4?
Do or die. if it ain't the best Knicks performance, then what are we here for?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A quick start, like that's one thing that's hampered us all year long. Getting behind early. You know what I mean? Can we make that adjustment first? You know what I mean? Can we find Cat and feed Cat? It's tough too because even the Brunson part of it, it's not like he don't be bouncing back from bad performances either. So it's like I wouldn't bet against Brunson having a good game. I still stand on the fact that for us to be our best against this team, it has to run through Cat.
Yeah. Flaw Man. I like that name, Sean. Flaw Man. Flaw Man 25. Instead of Law Man 25, call him Flaw Man 25. I like that name. I got a call on the line. Caller, your name and where you're from, please.
Yo, Sam, Tony, this is Isaac from Tux again.
Isaac, what's going on, man?
Sam, you ever seen Cool Runnings?
Yes, sir. I've seen it. I like that movie.
You
I've
remember,
seen it.
You remember when my man was talking to his father? And he looked at him and he said, "Tell me what you see, Father."
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I feel. I need y'all to tell me what you see out there because I missed most of the game, right? I had something more important to attend to. I get there for the fourth. What happened? Please, so can you fill me in? Because
Atlanta jumped on.
You came at the good part.
Yeah. Right. Atlanta jumped on
Not
us.
really.
Atlanta jumped on us
me.
from the beginning, bro. Like they jumped on us right from the beginning of the game. You know, their defense was swarming. They was shooting like first quarter, they was shooting like 60, 70% from the field or something like that. You know, and they just kept going, built up an 18-point lead. The Knicks actually trimmed it to 8 by halftime. In the third quarter, again, you know, Atlanta would go up 15. The Knicks were able to get it back down to 8. And then in the fourth quarter, the Knicks took a lead, 103-102, I think. They actually took a 3-point lead down the stretch in the fourth quarter. And then, you know, they got the ball to C.J. McCollum. You know, Mike Brown tried to put in an all-defensive lineup. He had Deuce in the game, Jordan Clarkson in the game, Shamet in the game. Who else was in the game? Mitch was in the game, and I'm missing somebody. Somebody else was in the game. And
I think Towns was in.
No, Towns wasn't in. He took out both Brunson and Towns. And still
In that third, I heard about that again.
Yeah, and still CJ hit the jumper over Deuce. They take a lead, 109, 108. The Knicks got the ball with like 12 seconds left and turned it over. Game over.
I caught that part. I was curious to what happened during the game because here's something I'm confused by. And I'm with y'all and I'm with some of the callers who said, you know, because again, I'm a Cat fan as well. You know, I'm gonna say it again. Jalen Brunson, not really feeling him. Appreciate him, not really feeling him. I'm trying to understand this though. I'm looking at the box score. Cat has 21 points. Brunson has 26 points. So Cat is only 5 points off from Brunson. But yet Brunson shot 23 shots to get to his 26. Cat shot 7 or 12 shots to get to his 21. He was more efficient there. Number 2, Cat shoots 6 for 6 from the free throw line. Jalen Brunson is 3 for 5 or 4 for 5. So Cat got to the line more times with less shots. How is that not a consistent part of the game plan throughout?
Yeah,
I get it. He didn't come to the ball in the fourth. I get that. At that time, honestly, I believe he was gassed. It's a lot to ask for your big man to create shots from the three-point line. Because a lot of times they're giving him the ball. He's getting the ball way too far out.
Yeah.
You know, and he's got a pump fake and he's going all the way to the basket. And then if you recall, too, at the end of the game, he had 2 big block shots. Now, OG didn't secure the rebound on that one that he was supposed to when he blocked Jalen Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
That would have kept us with the lead, with a 3-point lead. But OG didn't secure that rebound. So this is what I was telling you the other day, man. Like, Mike Brown, he's just not it. And I wanted Tibbs on. I was part of the get Tibbs about it. But the Knicks, for some reason, and it goes back to the front office. My boy always says the front office is frauds. Leon Rosen, they criminal. Because to me, I don't understand how you fired Tom Thibodeau, but then you have no ace in the hole.
Right.
No ace in the hole.
We
that was my only
that.
problem. Yeah, I got no problem firing Tom Thibodeau. Me, I wanted to get a proven winner. I wanted them to get Mike Malone. But somehow, some way, James Dolan got beef with him. I don't know what it's about, but that's just crazy. But James Dolan at some point has to get out of his own way, too, and just say, look, forget about the past or whatever. I need a championship coach in it. But we were supposed to just get a simple, bona fide championship coach in that seat. I mean, you had Budenholzer, you had a whole. There was coaches out there to grab, and you go with a reject coach and Mike Brown. And yes, I'm going to use the word reject because he has not been a championship coach as a head coach. Everywhere he's gone, it's been basic, and he flames out. Even when he was hot with the Cavs, the reason why we're seeing what we're seeing is because he did the same thing with LeBron, with every player he has. With LeBron James, all he did was give him the ball and say, LeBron, do something for him. That's why they could never get over the hump to win a championship, because they didn't play and utilize their players the right way. Everything was LeBron-centric. Everything was LeBron. He does the same thing when he gets over to the Lakers. He's trash over there. He had a good relationship with De'Aaron Fox, but apparently everybody else didn't like him. They felt like he wasn't being fair or whatever the case is. But this is what I'm saying. Like, so you said let's wait. So Sim, what you got for me today?
Listen, listen. Tons of mistakes by Mike Brown, by the players. You know, I mean, it's not much more you can say. You know what I'm saying? Besides, Mike Brown, to me, right now looks lost in this series. Like he's not sure exactly where to go. You know, I told my brother earlier, you know, if the Knicks win this series, it's probably not going to be because of Mike Brown. You know what I mean? It's probably going to be because of the players. You know, it's going to be because of the players. But that doesn't mean that in the next series, he doesn't have answers. But he doesn't have answers. We got to get to the next series. It doesn't look like right now he has answers in this series. You know,
but yet we as
say.
fans got all the answers. We know the answer. Jalen Brunson, stop dribbling the ball and doing like, and I want to go to that last play too, because this really hits on Jalen Brunson's IQ for me, and really his selfishness. Because you know, you mentioned it earlier. Mike Brown said we got what we wanted. They said Jalen Brunson's comfortable on the right side, right?
On the right side, going left, yeah.
Yeah, which he didn't go left. He went right. He just went straight.
Yeah.
Straight right. What can a left-handed player do on the right side of the court but try to shoot the basket? He didn't put himself in a position to be able to even see the floor. That's why he had to throw that terrible pass to Josh Hart, which Josh Hart should have got that, but, you know, that's another discussion there. But all he had was a jumper. He's on his weak side. You cannot go to your weak side and think that you can make something happen other than shoot a terrible shot. And he had the bigger defender on him, and he wasn't able to get past him nor create enough space to even be able to get a jumper. But that's the problem with the IQ. He should have got the ball in the middle of the floor to where he can see the entire floor. Then if he wants to go right, maybe he could go right.
In the beginning, he did get the ball.
His left hand is shut off.
But look, in the beginning, he did get the ball in the middle of the floor. When Josh Hart passed him the ball, he passed him the ball at the top of the key. Cat came up and set a screen on the left side.
Yep.
Brunson went opposite the screen to the right side of the floor.
Exactly.
And then, we know what happened from there.
What you mentioned it earlier, you and Tone both mentioned it. He don't never take that screen.
He never takes the screen.
So I understand that he's comfortable. What Mike Brown meant was he's comfortable to just shoot the ball. He can't do nothing else from that left side because as a left-handed player, you cutting off your left hand except for shooting. You can't get your body in a position to make a good pass going right. So that's what I'm saying. That's on him. Like, that's a bad decision as the floor general. He wasn't thinking about what's my second option or my third option. He was only thinking I'm shoot. The only time he passes it, if he notices it, is only when he's trying to bail himself out because he's stuck. If he would have even practiced the principle of just keeping his dribble alive, he wouldn't have been in that situation. He would have been better trying to body into him and go for a layup right there.
Right.
But this is what we got to deal with. So I know they're going to look for like wholesale changes if they lose. Hopefully they don't. I still think that they can win. But if they lose, I'm going to be honest, I'm not giving Jalen Brunson the bag. I'm not. Either he's going to take a good team-friendly contract again, or I got to ship him out of here to get those 5 picks back from Mikal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I know that's going to sound sacrilegious to everybody out there, but what's the point? You could bring in Giannis up in here. But if Jalen Brunson still plays the same way, you're not going nowhere. If Mike Brown is still going to coach the same way, you're not going nowhere. And bringing in Giannis, you get the same situation. You get 2 ball-dominant guys, and Giannis can't even stretch the floor. Now, I love Giannis. I would love him on the Knicks, but what they will want for him to give up, and I know everybody's going to go that route if they lose, it ain't going to solve the problem. Plugging in a player here is not going to solve the problem. We need to people have been saying we're not a championship team. We're not a championship team, not because of the talent. We're not a championship team because of the mindset that's been placed into them and putting them in the wrong places. That, to me, that's coaching. But if you look from top to bottom, we got every skill set you want in the championship team.
But do they mix together?
Well, they should. The problem is your point guard doesn't distribute. See, even with OG had a killer game, but he had to throw up 2 Hail Marys to save us. That was Jalen Brunson giving him a grenade, they call it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
But
that
I think too, though, it comes down to not just that we have the pieces, but the pieces got to work together, and you got to know how to play intelligent basketball, right? You know how to make decisions, all of those things. Understand how to stay poised under pressure. Like all of those type of things. Actually, those things come into play. I don't. We're not showing that we have that right now in this series.
Yeah, man. Look, I appreciate the love, fellas. Tony, before I go though, Tony, man, my fault, man. I didn't listen to you last time. Hit me with something, man. You got something for me to believe right now?
Hey, it's a 7-game series now.
Hey, it might be the opposite, man. Is it the Hawks in 5? I thought it was the Knicks in 5, man. Is it this is killing me.
Nah, I don't think it's we getting the next one.
No, we got to get the next one. We're in desperation mode, yo. We got to get that next one.
Listen, everything you said about what's potential to happen after the season, the players know that.
Yeah.
So what they want to do?
I think that's why Cat was hurt, because he knows. If you notice, Cat has played a series where he's like, I don't want y'all to put the blame on me. And he's balling out. I mean, the first 3 games, I can't really ask for more out of my second best player. I mean, 21, 17, and 2 blocks and 4 assists. Like he's giving you production, and he's making up for some of the bonehead mistakes that he's making. Because he's like, I think that's in his head. He's like, I know they're gonna put the blame on me. If we lose this joint, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
He's definitely in his feelings. But I predict the Knicks gonna win next game by 15.
Okay.
We're gonna take it back to the Garden.
Yeah.
But they're gonna win by 15. But it's gonna be because Mike is finally gonna listen. They're gonna run the pick and roll game, and they're gonna get them acclimated.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, Isaac, I appreciate you, bro.
Appreciate y'all, man. Enjoy the
No
night.
doubt. You too. Peace. Oh, man. You know, actually, I'm looking at this play again, Tony. Right? And I'm going to try to get it up. Because I want to be able to, you know, I want to try to break it down a little bit. And I know you're probably not going to be able to see it unless you're looking at it on YouTube.
Hold on, I'll go to YouTube.
Brunson, the more that I look at it, it is exactly what they wanted to do. You know, it wasn't that Brunson didn't take the screen. The screen was coming before. The screen came before he ever even got the basketball in his hands. Right? And I think it was set up for him to fake the screen, like he was going to, you know, come off the screen. Cat set the screen on the left. Right? Daniel Dyson is defending Brunson. Brunson fakes like he's taking that screen and then goes over to the right, and Josh Hart throws the ball over the top. You know, is that the best play? I don't know. But and then it goes from there. Now, Cat had Daniel Dyson on him. And he didn't roll to the basket, talking about Cat. You know, he just stayed out at the top of the key and let Brunson do his thing. You know what I'm saying? He had Daniel Dyson on him. That was going to be a bucket or a foul. A bucket or a foul. You know, which other way could that have went besides a bucket or a foul? You know, and I'm almost like, don't even look at it and break it down, because you're just going to make yourself and everybody else mad. You know what I mean? You know, but I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know if that's the right play call or not. You know what I'm saying? It's just so hard. It's hard to say. I mean, what do you think, Tony? What would have been the best play call for you?
I mean, regardless of what, I thought the play should have went to Cat or OG.
The best defender on Brunson.
The Hawks stole one in game 2. It's down to the wire here in game 3. 7 seconds left. Brunson with the ball. Brunson makes his move. Brunson on the baseline. Hart's got to track it down. Dug it in the it's over.
Let me get the sound off of the video. All right, so let's bring this back.
I mean, I think they went too far, because you could have found Cat. His man fell.
Mm-hmm. So
it's not like he was positioned to really go get the ball, but if you was intending to get him the ball, you could have got it to him.
Yeah. So I'm gonna start playing it right here, right now. All right. So, okay, Hart is taking the ball out of bounds. OG just set a screen for, I think maybe that's Deuce over there, right? Brunson pops to the top of the key. Cat flashes to the ball. So it looks like, okay, this is what was meant to happen. Cat hands it right off to Hart, and he goes up to set the screen for Brunson. right? So now I'm gonna stop it right here. You see, Cat was setting the screen for Brunson, and now Brunson is flying over to the corner, right? Josh Hart's dribbling up to the top of the key. Brunson is flying over to the not to the corner, over to the wing.
Which also should have made Cat open before giving the ball to Brunson.
Right. That should have made Cat open at the top of the key.
Because the guy is about to chase Brunson.
Right. So right now, I think Okongwu goes over to Brunson, right?
And he's too far from Cat. Okongwu.
So Daniel Dyson falls. Daniel Dyson falls. If we weren't playing so robotic, you know, you might have got the ball right to Cat and told Cat, okay, let's start penetrating. That's going to draw Okongwu, and then Brunson would have been wide open. Or Okongwu wouldn't have came to help.
If he would have caught the ball and took a shot and tripped, it would have been a foul automatically.
Right.
Because you can't play defense from the floor.
From the floor.
It's a foul every time.
Yeah. Right. So we keep it going. Boom. I mean, you see Cat just standing there with his hands up. Daniel Dyson is on the floor still. If Cat just cuts to the basket, he's open. If he just cuts to the basket, he's open.
And again, you can't play defense from the floor. So if you trip, that's a foul on him.
That's a foul on him. Right. Right. So now you see, you know, Josh Hart's man, Kuminga, is going with Brunson, looking to trap from the backside. Cat's still at the top of the key. You know, it should have been Cat cutting to the basket instead of Hart.
Or
bigger
a
target.
dish out to Cat instead of trying to pass it to Hart.
Right. I mean, Brunson small, maybe he couldn't see that far. But if Cat, I mean, we're trying, we want a shot and a rebound if there's going to be a rebound, right?
Yeah.
So
shouldn't be that far away from the rim.
Cat shouldn't be that far away from the rim at this point. You're not getting a three. Let Josh Hart stay out there. Cat come to the basket. That's a bigger target. If a shot goes up, a better rebounder, or at least he's closer to the basket, let's say that, you know, to grab a rebound. Instead, you know, this is what we get here. And now here comes Cat getting into the play.
But you see 5 Atlanta Hawks in the frame and not Cat.
And not
You
Cat.
know what I mean? So
yeah. Yeah. And then of course, you know, and boy.
Law man laughing, cracking up. I see you.
It's all right. It's all right. Too bad there's not an Atlanta podcast for you to go to where they'll break it down like that, you know? You got to come hang with us, you know, just so you can have some conversation. But hey, y'all won, you know, I mean, not too much I could say. But, I don't know, man. So, you know, it comes down to basketball IQ, too. I mean, my man fell. Fuck the rest of the play. Cut to the basket. I'm wide open now.
Yeah. Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
I mean? Who cares about, I'm open now. My man fell. That wasn't supposed to happen, but he fell. I'm wide open.
And I ain't touching, but that might have been his paranoia too. Like, they gonna call a foul on me.
Call a foul on me, yeah. You know what I mean?
Cause you see Cat look down like, you know what I mean? Like, yo, I ain't do nothing.
Yeah, right. You know, yeah, I don't know. So what we got to do next game, man, to, you know, what we got to do next game to get this?
The same thing I've been saying. Run the offense through Cat.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it's already been proven. Brunson's getting easier shots when it's passes from Cat when he's cutting off ball. So that's number one. It's gonna help Brunson. It's gonna keep Cat engaged. You know what I mean? You gotta have him. He don't gotta shoot every shot. He's been super efficient, but he has to touch the ball.
Right.
I think every time down.
Yes, I agree.
I think he got to touch the ball every time down.
I agree.
It makes Atlanta do too much thinking and make mistakes.
Yeah, I agree 100%. The ball should be in his hands every single time down the floor. He should touch the ball. You know, Cav Berg said, run the offense through Cat. Yeah. First you said Cav score more points. Now you say run the offense through Cat. That's how we score more points. Run the offense through Cat. Right? Run it through Cat. Run it through Cat. Let Brunson get off the ball. Let Brunson cut to the ball. Why? He already got to work guarding CJ. You know what I'm saying? Make it easier on him someplace else. Yeah, Law, man, go to bed. Go to bed. Get out of here. I don't want to see you no more. Go to sleep or something. Do something. You know what I mean? Go find an Atlanta podcast. Another caller on the line. Call it live. Name it where you're from, please.
Hey, this is Ty J. Originally from New York. I'm calling from Jersey, though.
All right, what's going on with you, Ty J?
How y'all doing tonight, man?
Good. Well,
Been better.
You know, we've been better. I mean, you know, for the most part, personally, we're good. From the Knicks standpoint, you know, you already know.
Yeah, I already know. Well, my big thing is since Mitch became coming off the bench, I actually thought that eventually he would make it back to being a starter. So to me, that's a big thing there because you got Cat out there for the first 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. And I missed it today because I don't know what exactly he did early in this game, but I just feel that Mitch should be starting because, you know, I mean, I would live and die with Mitch, you know, and take him out when you need to. But I just think that he makes it harder for the other team. And without having him out there, I think they get comfortable. And I think that you need to make them not comfortable early. But I understand. I get it. You know, you don't want to have both of them out there, blah, blah, blah. But, I mean, if we're talking about defense, I would have to have him out there. I would have to have him make it harder for the other team, you know, because you good on Mitch all year long with trying to keep him healthy. And then the playoffs come and then you can't start him. You can't finish with him. It's like, you know, come on now. That's my boy right there. He does a lot for us. And I just like to see him do his thing, you know, regardless if he can't hit free throws like that. I mean, who does it the same thing? Minnesota, you know, Rudy Gay. He don't hit free throws good, but they got him out there, you know. They got a good win today, too. But, you know, I mean.
Yeah, Minnesota.
I don't know.
Minnesota's up 2-1 over Denver.
Yeah.
Hashtag Team Brando.
You know, they look. I know they happy right now. They, you know, they got to keep doing what they doing. Then, you know, I took my hat off to R.J. Barrett tonight too. You know, he had a good game tonight. You know, I just wish we had a good game. You know, and then with Mikal with 0, I mean, man, I can't fathom this. You know, I didn't picture we being in a situation like this.
Me either. Me either. I
not with Atlanta.
Yeah, did not picture this. You know, I think you know, it still could be a 4-2 series. You know, I predicted a 4-2 series, Knicks.
Yeah.
But the issue is we just don't look together. That's the biggest issue.
No cohesiveness. You know, no cohesiveness. And like y'all said, like with the coach, you don't get that we really had it together yet. We still waiting for that spark, you know.
Yeah.
For it just to catch, you know. And it just don't seem like, you know, we got it like that.
So what do you see we got to do, man, to change this?
Well, like I said, how I like Mitch out there. I would like to see him out there. I would have liked to see them try to play with him first and then, if it looked like that wasn't going to work. But it seems like they'll never do it in the reverse way. But I'd love to see him on the court, though. I would love to see Mitchell on the court doing his thing. Because I remember the days when we used to win with him. Now he's sitting down. He's just the guy in the middle. He's in the middle of the game. And I'm like, man, we need him. We could have had a rebound there. He could have been there getting that ball. Brunson would have had somebody to throw it to. That could have been an alley-oop, anything. And you can't, you could have trusted Mitch would have been somewhere around the basket. You can't trust him. So I'm like,
yeah, it's frustration, man.
Just venting a little bit. I ain't see it to the end of the game, though. But, we got something to talk about tomorrow.
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
It's nice talking to y'all, fellas, man. I appreciate what y'all do.
Yeah,
talk to y'all guys. Hopefully we can get past this and we can have other things to talk about.
We need a nice win on Saturday. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we lose on Saturday.
What do you see though? What do you see? What do we need to do in your way? What we need to do?
I mean, we can't start the way we started today. First of all, got to fix that. We've got to figure out CJ too. We got to figure that out. You know what I mean? Because the guy's hitting big shot after big shot.
The thing about it though, Sam, if it wasn't CJ, we expected somebody to have that type of impact. So his impact shouldn't be the end all be all that's killing us. You feel me? Like even if we didn't expect it to be CJ, you might have thought it would be Johnson. You know what I mean? You might have thought it would be Alexander Walker. So the fact that it's him, I agree. We gotta figure him out, but he ain't the reason we losing. You know what I'm saying? Like, because it could have been anybody having that type of performance.
I mean, I get that.
We should still be beating. We should still be winning.
I just feel like it's the I mean, he's not the. I mean, tonight he was because he hit the game winning shot, but like, it's the fact that he's like, obviously he's shooting the ball really well and he's shooting it at a high percentage. Sometimes like you had a guy that drops 30, but he's it's 41%, 42%. Right?
He's comfortable.
Yeah, he's comfortable. You know what I'm saying? He's comfortable, and
you need a good start, so that, to probably stop letting them get so comfortable.
Yeah, he's comfortable.
Like you need a good start.
Yeah, he's comfortable. He's hitting shots. He's hitting big shots. You know what I mean? And his ability, like you were saying before, Tony, his ability is allowing Jalen Johnson, Nickeil Alexander-Walker to really relax. Not relax, but, to not have the pressure on them. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Nickeil Alexander hasn't even played a really good game yet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Jalen Johnson played
when you don't play
tonight,
a good game, when you don't play a good game now, if CJ don't have a good game, now that would be the time for them to shine. Now they ready, so it's dangerous. But like Tony said, it shouldn't be just because of him. We should still have Atlanta, we should have them in the palm of our hands, at least. That's what I thought.
Yeah. and then we got
we backpedaling.
On the offensive side, we've got to figure out what we're doing. You know what I'm saying? Because obviously, just trying to go to Brunson all day is not working. Right, so we've got to figure out. We got to figure out how do we score? How are we gonna, have an efficient scoring basketball game?
Yeah,
get the ball to Towns. Right? How do we figure that out? How do we figure out how to get the ball to Towns? Let Towns do his thing, because we're not putting enough pressure back on them offensively.
No, and I love when Towns is when he's demanding, but you just see he's too passive sometimes. I mean, I don't know what he be thinking. I be wanting him to be thinking, look, I need this ball for us to win. That's what I need him to think. But I don't know what goes on.
Yeah. So, you know, got a lot of work to do. You know, we need a good practice tomorrow. That's what they need. They need a really good. They need to have a really good practice.
Hopefully Saturday is a good Saturday.
Yeah, I hope so.
Hopefully,
I hope so.
Yeah.
But you know what? And maybe you know we are going to struggle out of this series, but it's going to make us better.
That's a good way to look at it. If we lose one more, then I'll lose my mind.
I mean, yeah. I mean, we lose one more, we down 3-1. Then we got to do something historical, you know.
Yeah.
Not to say that it can't be done. It can be done.
Well, we get this one Saturday. It evens it up. We get to start from scratch. It now becomes the best of 3, right?
Yep. It now becomes the best of 3.
Well, hopefully we can get 2. But it's what it is, you know.
Yeah.
That's what it leads us to. My New York Knicks.
I mean, listen. Their backs are against the wall right now. Should come out feisty, angry, you know, ready to scrap and scrape. You know what I mean? That's what I'm expecting from them.
Well, I hope so.
You know, that's what I'm
For your
expecting.
sake and our sake, keep our season alive.
Yeah.
Keep hope alive.
I mean, it's still alive. It's still alive. It's still there. It's still there. You know what I'm saying? We just gotta make it. We just gotta make it happen, man.
Oh, now I remember that quote. He said, "When hope meets reality." That quote Mike Brown keeps talking about.
Oh, when hope meets reality.
Yeah, the first black billionaire that he keep telling everybody about.
I don't like that.
Well, let's. I ain't like it either because it seems like it's circumstantial. It don't seem, you know what I mean? It don't seem like
intentional, right?
Yeah, word.
You know what I'm saying? When hope meets, I mean, when you have hope, that means you have no control.
Yeah, man.
When you hope, that means you don't have control.
Bro, I told you that quote was killing me, bro.
You hoping you win, but the reality is you just lost, you know? So, no, that don't sound good at all.
And he be so intrigued. He be so intrigued by it. Like, yo, the first black billionaire, like, he said, what is leadership to you? And it's when hope meets reality. And I'm like, I don't get it. I don't get it.
That's crazy.
That don't sound convincing or inspiring to me.
Yeah. When hope,
no, not at all.
When hope meets reality, what? Come on, man.
I told you, Sim, that quote was killing me, bro.
Oh, man. Yeah.
All right. Well,
it's been real talking to y'all guys, man.
No doubt.
I got to get me some sleep. I got to get up early in the morning.
Yeah, get some rest, brother. Get some rest.
All right. You guys, man.
All right. Peace.
Y'all rock it out.
No doubt.
Hopefully we'll win. Good night, y'all. All right.
Peace. When hope meets reality. Man. Jamrock said, Sim, I am ready for the Knicks to lose this series so we can get to the inevitable. This team doesn't work. JB doesn't work for this team to win a chip, plain and simple. Man, we went from championship aspirations to hoping that we're going to lose this joint. JB, thank you for the super chat. He said, shooting, Jamrock, thank you for the super chat. He said, JB shooting 42%, even was shooting 47% tonight. Oh, you mean throughout the series? Yeah, I don't know.
Oh man, Mikal Bridges. And you know what's crazy? Mikal's still getting, like, he still ain't getting the full blunt of the smoke. You know what I mean? Like, he still got people ahead of him to shield him from all the hate that he could get.
Yeah.
And I'll say this last thing. I think another adjustment that JB has to do, remember that stretch? It really wasn't the January stretch, because I think it was all Randall's last year.
Mhm.
Or would that be second to last year? But remember, he was making the decisions quick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Within the
Yeah.
first,
Yeah. Yeah.
and he made that adjustment, and how much more efficient he became.
Right.
I think that's the next adjustment for JB. Make those decisions quick, because a lot of times he's dribbling longer than he's actually making the move that he's making.
Yeah.
And most time, you know what I mean? Historically, as a Knick, he made that shot, even if it took him,
Yeah.
10 seconds, 12 seconds to get there. I think he has to come to that decision quicker.
Yeah.
And then live with the result.
Right. Exactly. I definitely agree with that. Paris Duggan, thank you for the super chat. He said, Cat, JB, and OG can't outscore another team. They can't cover up for Bridges and others. They force JB to try to overdo it. The others aren't helping. Look, listen, Brunson over dribbles. You know this. Come on. He over dribbles. Let's look at the last possession before halftime. Right? I think Deuce had hit a couple of threes. And we get the ball to Brunson, and he's like, waiting for a screen or waiting for this or waiting for that. And then at the last second, I think he throws the ball over.
Grenade. The same two big threes that OG hit was grenades from Brunson.
Right. So it's like, and it's because he's standing there dribbling. You know what I mean? So the person with the ball is the heart, is the drum beat. Right? Everybody moves off of the person with the ball. What that person, the decision that person makes is what initiates the next movement of your set. So if the ball handler is standing in one spot dribbling, well, everybody else is standing there watching, because it's going to depend on what he does next. Now, if he penetrates to the right, okay, now we're going to start to move and rotate. But if you're standing there for 10 seconds dribbling the ball, everyone's standing there for 10 seconds waiting to see what happens next. Because everything's predicated off of the person with the ball. What do they do? What decision do they make? You can't really make a decision until they make a decision, especially if they're dribbling. If they're not dribbling, okay, I can cut to the basket because they haven't dribbled the basketball. But once they start dribbling, you really can't do anything, because if you cut, you might cut in their way. If I'm on the opposite side of the floor, I'm on the left side of the floor and Brunson's on the right, and he's dribbling the ball, and I cut, and then at the same time that I cut, he penetrates to the left. Now we run into each other, right? Now,
or you bringing a defender to
or you're bringing a defender to him. Right? Now, if he's at the top of the key and I'm cutting along the baseline, that's a little bit different. Right? Come on. He dribbles a lot. You know what I mean? And he gets into his dribbling fits. Can't deny that. I'm a Brunson fan, but yeah, he does dribble a lot. I'm not even, there's nothing I can say about it. It's the truth. I ain't hating.
Sim, you think we could sell Minnesota that Bridges fits better over there than DiVincenzo?
Yeah, I think we could. We need to try it. We need to try it. Randall might have something to say about that.
He'd be like, I want to come back too. Depending on how this year plays out. But
I mean, they just beat Denver in Denver.
yeah, I know. I was watching it.
Wait a minute. They beat
in
They were
Minnesota,
home.
in
They were
Minnesota.
home. Yeah, they were home
Yeah.
to take a 2-1 lead. And they had nice balance scoring. Jaden McDaniels had 20. Randall had 15 and 6. Daniels had 20 and 10. Randall 15 and 6. Rudy Gobert 10 and 12. Anthony Edwards 17 and 5 with 3 assists. Randall also had 4 assists. DiVincenzo had 15 points and 7 assists. Ayo Dosunmu, he had 25 points and 9 assists.
Yeah, they was balling.
Yeah.
They look like they gonna pack them up.
Yeah. You know, Raptors got the win over the Cleveland Cavaliers tonight. Cavs are up 2-1.
Okay.
Yeah. So, you know, you already know what it's gonna be like. I'm not even gonna watch ESPN and nothing like that tomorrow.
Yeah, me neither.
Not even gonna watch.
I might watch a couple of other ones. I'm not gonna watch the Hawks. I've been watching the Hawks after the first win. I don't think I could take it after this one. They're gonna be on one. I ain't gonna be the lawman of they chat.
Yeah, word. Yeah. Oh man. What time we play Saturday? 6:00?
I think it's early. What channel is it on?
Yeah. That was my next question because it's all over the place.
That's the only thing that matters to me. Can I watch it?
It's on Peacock or NBC.
Okay. I should be good. That should be good.
Yeah. So tomorrow night, Philly and the 76ers play. It's back to Philly now.
You mean?
I mean, Celtics and the 76ers. Yeah, I'm bugging. Yeah, Celtics and the 76ers play. The Lakers and the Rockets. So Celtics and 76ers play at 7. Lakers and Rockets play at 8. And the Spurs and the Blazers play at 10:30. And that series is tied 1-1.
Yeah, I might watch. I don't even know if I'm gonna even be up to watch any basketball until we play again. I don't know if I could stomach it.
Yeah, I feel you.
I just watched the Minnesota game just because, I'm still rooting for Randall and DiVincenzo.
Yeah. Yeah.
Other than that,
yeah.
If it don't got no Knicks relativity to it,
I
ain't watching it.
I feel you. And then on Saturday, the Pistons and the Magic play at 1. The Thunder and Suns play at 3:30. And then the Knicks in Atlanta play at 6. And then at 8:30, the Nuggets and Timberwolves. Yeah, big game, man. Big game for the Knicks. Last time I was on, everybody came in, was talking about, nobody wants to talk about Detroit. Remember that when what was that, Lucis Lounge?
Mm-hmm.
So that wasn't the last time we was on, but Lucis Lounge. You notice none of them are talking about Detroit tonight. You know what I'm saying? With the way that they, gave it to Orlando the other night. But that still might be shaping up to be a pretty good series. Jamrock said Brunson led the league over Luka in time of possession.
Which is crazy because the argument I was having about him getting off the ball sooner, I think that stat is a low for his time as a Knick. Like he holds the ball less time, but his actual time of possession is higher. Like his total time with the ball is higher, but how long he holds the ball was a low for his Knick career.
Yeah.
But he got to get even better than that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Ah, boy. Well, I think I'm done for the night.
Yeah, I'm tired.
You know what I mean? I'm tired. I'm hungry. You know, can't get the loss back. Can't do nothing until Saturday. So, you jumping out tomorrow anytime?
Yeah, tomorrow night, sometime like 9:30, 10 o'clock.
Okay.
After I get out of work.
Okay.
I got a whole change of plans on what I thought was gonna be my show. No more road court advantage. You know what I mean? So
right.
But I shit. They gave me a lot to talk about. So you know what I mean? I'll figure something to pinpoint on.
Yeah. There's a whole lot to talk about. But ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna get out of here. Thank you for joining us and staying on with us for 2 hours. Still got about 100 people here. Still rocking with us. Please hit that like button. I'm gonna call it a night because I got an early morning too.
No doubt.
Ladies and gentlemen, be peaceful, and we'll catch you. We'll catch you later. Hopefully we got another Losers Lounge coming up soon.
We can't end this season like that.
Word.
You know what I mean?
Sure can't. So they need to have a team talk, something. But they got to get it together. Something. Anyway, we out of here, ladies and gentlemen. Peace.
This is MBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.